My mom made us knock before we entered every room. PT3. Derwin, you are really starting to scare me. My sister stood with her arms crossed, giving our Uncle Ward a skeptical look. I couldn't blame her. He was standing with two pistols strapped to his waist, just like I was. Come on. If you were ever to believe me about something, Doris, this would be it. I'm not planning on sacrificing myself. But if something happens, you need to be here to see it. I need you to document it. This is for my child, your future children, and their children too. If we manage to kill one of these things, hell, even just catching it on camera, then it will be the only evidence that they'll ever need. They'll keep knocking on doors for the rest of time. Why can't we just try this with a glass sliding door? Doris countered. Come on, D. Have you ever seen anything on the other side before you knock on a sliding door? The dimension is only open when we first open the door. It's not just perpetually sitting there every time we go into another room. Doris looked between me and Ward. Do you even know how to shoot a gun? Uncle Ward gave me a quick lesson. I just need you to record, okay? I'm gonna jump back if I can. Once the thing comes out, Ward is gonna shoot it. Nobody will get hurt if we do this correctly. Doris still didn't look convinced, but she sighed and picked up her phone. Fine. But I'm gonna do it with you. What? Doris, that defeats the whole purpose. Doris raised a finger and pointed at me. Look, we shared the womb together. We came into this world at the same time. If you're gonna risk your life, then I'm gonna be here with you. That's the only way I'll agree to stand here and film this. Wow. You really are your mother's daughter, said Ward, looking impressed. I sighed. He was right. She was just as stubborn as Mom had been. Okay. So be it. Let's get ready. I'm gonna open the door on 3. Ward cocked both pistols and aimed them at the door. My sister grabbed my left hand with her right and raised her cell phone, which was recording, with the other. I gripped the knob, my heart racing. For the first time in my 33 years of life, I was going to do what my mother had always cautioned me not to. I hoped Ward was a good shot. 1, 2, 3. I turned the knob and jumped back instinctively. To my utmost shock, however, no hand sprung from within. The door creaked slowly inward, revealing what looked to be a heavily foggy, mountainous terrain. I couldn't believe it. I was really staring into another dimension. What the hell are we looking at? Doris wondered out loud, her eyes even wider than mine. I shook my head. I don't know, but I'm going in. What? Ward and Doris exclaimed in unison. I glanced at them. I want to find out what happened to Mom. Stay here and wait for me with the door open. If I don't return, well, you know what to do. You heard him, Ward, my sister murmured, tossing him the cell phone. Close it if we don't return. I cursed. Fine, just know I'll put a bullet in us both if we are surrounded by them. The two of us stepped into the forgotten realm, still holding hands. I could hear Ward praying behind us. The air was cold, my breath was surely rising in front of me, but there was so much fog I could not tell. I didn't know what to expect or where to go. We could have been leapt upon at any given moment. This was a dimension completely separate from our own. It didn't have to follow the same rules. We trotted on quietly, carefully. There was no sound, no plants, no sign of life. This place wasn't supposed to exist, if it even existed at all. There was a movement. I spun around, aiming my pistol at the monstrosity that had somehow crept up on us. The thing was something straight out of your worst nightmare. Though it was hunchbacked, it was gargantuan, standing at a height of at least 7 feet. It had rocky, armored gray skin, with 2 withered arms, one very short and the other very long. Its frail chest looked like it would cave in at any given moment from the long, pained breaths that it was taking. It was a wonder that its legs, bent inwards at the knees, could support its weight. It had a large head and a series of jagged horns jutting out atop it. Its mouth was twisted, and it had no nose. Its eyes, however, were yellow and cat-like. It was surveying Doris and I like we were mice. "Derwin, what the fuck is that thing?" "Forgotten." The thing took a step closer. My sister and I took one back. It breathed in heavily, then, to our surprise, began to speak. "So at last it has happened. The twins have come to save their mother." I was mortified. "How do you know who we are? And what have you done with my mother? You both look so much like her." "I know because she is my daughter." "Has Ward chosen not to come and face his demons too?" You're lying. This didn't make sense. How the hell could that thing have been our grandfather? Whether you believe me or not is up to you. I was Greg Woodson once. But he is gone now. Now I am only forgotten. We are all forgotten. My sister and I spun around. Another one of the creatures had lumbered up, its head severely tilted to one side. "And we only wish to be remembered," hissed another, seemingly coming out of nowhere. I couldn't believe it. They were all over the place, dozens and dozens of them, each clearly in pain. My sister pulled the second gun from the holster and raised it in the air as well. Why did you come here?" This voice, though it was terribly altered, was so familiar. Doris and I looked at the being standing nearest to us. Her eyes hadn't yet turned yellow like the others. No, her eyes still looked like ours. "Mother?" Doris gasped quietly. Tears flooded my eyes. Mom, what have they done to you?" "It is what happens to all of us once we are trapped in here. The ONL. Why reason they can't touch the two of you is because you are twins. The first ones in our line. Your blood together, the two of you holding hands, is a bond stronger than the curse of our family." There were even more of the things now, but I kept my eyes on my mother. "Mom, this doesn't make sense if George Woodson dash. It isn't just our family, my son. Others have found this place by accident. The Bermuda Triangle, the Malaysia Airlines incident, this is where they end up. We don't eat, we don't sleep, we are simply forgotten." Doris was sobbing. I shook my head, then pointed the gun at the thing that had once been my mother. "I can't leave you like this, I can free you, Mom. If you slay me, if you spill my blood, then they will be able to touch you. And if they get you, then you will be like me one day. Forgotten. We will gladly take your place, Mother." Doris sobbed. And she was right. If we weren't fast enough at offing ourselves, then we would rather be here, suffering, than leaving our mother behind. "I love both of you, more than you will ever know." "Do it," rasped our grandfather. His twisted mouth was smiling. "Do it. We all belong together. We're all family. Join us, Derwin. Exist forever, Doris. This is what was meant to be. I love you." I pulled the trigger. As my mother's body fell, there was another gunshot. For a second I thought that Doris had already killed herself, then I heard Ward. "Go. Both of you, run, now." We didn't have to be told twice. All three of us ran, firing shots behind us at the quickly approaching Forgotten. "Save a bullet for yourselves," I cautioned, but Ward shook his head. "Just go. Go." The door, still open, was just ahead, but there was no way all three of us would fit at once. The Forgotten were right on our tails. They were either going to catch us or get into our realm. "Remember, guys," Ward yelled. "Always knock." He stopped running. The Forgotten pounced upon him, and my sister and I dashed into the doorway. I slammed it closed just as two of the things were leaping at us. I knocked faster than ever in my life, and there was silence. I fell on my butt, panting, while my sister sprawled out on the floor next to me. I wish that there was more to this story. I wish I could say that I was a hero who managed to end the family curse. I wish I could say that I had found my mother alive and well in human form and had been able to bring her back. I wish that Ward was with us, not trapped in the forgotten realm with my sister's cell phone still in his possession. But I can't. I suppose that as long as there are Woodsons, there is always something on the other side of the door. The rest of the world has forgotten about them, but we never will. And we will always knock.